Just, just so you know, my franchisee, the person I signed up,
Mhm.
loves you. She wanted me to give you information because I said everything I learned was from your videos.
Okay, that's good.
So yeah, so she was like, "Oh man, you know a lot," and I was like, "Yeah, I was watching YouTube videos of the guy, and I watched almost every single one. He was explaining every single one. That's how I kind of knew ahead of time of everything that she was asking if I understand. And she was like, I was actually taking over the meeting when we were doing like a Zoom call. Well, they do like Microsoft. What is it? Microsoft. I don't know. Microsoft Teams or whatever I think it
Oh
is.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they do that, and I'll tell you what, it took almost like a half an hour into our meeting just to get in because it was not working.
Mm,
That's why
yes.
I like Zoom. I like Zoom a lot better, I told her. So, but yeah, and then when I finally went and signed my franchise, what was it? Because this is my second week now into the meeting. She's like, "You got to give me his info," and I was like, I just don't want to give it out without your permission. So that's totally up to you." I was like, he's all the way down in the Georgia market.
Yeah. She can look online. She'll find me online.
If
Like I said, I'm just here to serve, and I think that when people get started in franchising, especially with JanPro, um, if it's explained to people in a term that they can relate to, it'll be
yeah,
beneficial when they get started with the business. So that's really my calling, is like to just help people get their foundation started, and then they can just build from there. But I just wanted to, you know, give what I have, give a little bit of what I have, the experience and the knowledge that I gained over the last 7 years since I've been in business, and just pay it forward to somebody that's looking to get into the business.
yeah, and see that's what I like about all your videos because of your caring and getting along with people. I was always taught to treat people everything, and if you can give somebody advice and go from there to go like that's just how I was always raised and taught by. I mean, when you have military family, like
Yeah. Yes,
that's
well, I come from a military background, so
yeah, so that's one of my thing, and that's why I really I want to say I also appreciate you taking your time and doing like Zoom meetings with everybody to understand, and even just to talk about how everything will go with like businesses. Like I literally just started my own business of the cleaning before I got the Jam Pro,
okay.
so I just started that this year. I always wanted to work for myself, not somebody else anymore. Corporate greed and all that. So I was like, well, I'm good at cleaning, so I'm going to do my own cleaning business.
That's good.
So, and then I started. One day I was watching YouTube and your thing popped up of that because I was doing like cleaning and learning everything about financial stuff with cleaning or and stuff like that. And then yours popped up, and then I just started watching video of yours talking about Jam Pro. So I'm on my phone while I'm watching it, looking for if there's a Jam Pro near me because I live in the Pennsylvania area.
Okay, okay.
So yeah, 20
Yeah, I
minutes.
got some guys up there in Pennsylvania, New Jersey area that started Jan Pro franchises up there as well, that are
Yeah.
franchising. So
So
yeah.
then I seen that. So I was actually when I was watching yours, there's actually two franchises that I was looking. There was one called Mint Condition and Jam Pro. What led me go to Jam Pro more is because they have it in my area because I'm in the Hershey area, like well, I'm in Anvil, but I'm like 20 minutes away from Hershey, and the other franchisee isn't like anywhere near me. So it would take forever probably to try to get contracts, and then watching your videos and talking about Jam Pro, I was like, I think I'm just gonna decide to go and do Jam Pro
Mm.
because the way you were saying and everything, and then with the meeting, I told the lady that you sold me more on this franchise than the other franchise did for me. So, but
Yeah.
I what led me towards more Jam Pro was just because it's easier. I can go to like people and get contracts for residential cleanings then more I can do for commercial. And what led me more is they're known to get more commercial. They know how to talk. They know how to go. Not saying I don't know how to talk, but that's what they've been doing for what 20 plus years or whatever. And so they know how to do that. And it's one less stress that I have to worry about.
Correct, correct, correct. Let them do all the heavy lifting, and all you're doing is just maintaining contracts. So
Yep. I wish you would have said in the video how long the meetings last. I don't know if you're a franchisee, you had to go through a 4 week training too.
yes, 5 weeks.
Yeah,
Ours was 5 weeks. Yes, yes, and
yeah,
it's only one day a week. So I mean,
yeah. Ours is like every Tuesday for 4 weeks.
that's correct.
So, but yeah, I wish you would have said how long it took.
Yeah.
Because I think our first meeting that I did, the day that I signed it, she signed me up for that meeting for that day. So the 30th of July is when I actually signed the papers and did my first video meeting and stuff like that. That was like what 3.5 hours.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh my god. So from 5:30 at night to like 8:30, almost 9 o'clock, I'm like, I'm usually in bed kind of a little bit at this time. And then our last one on Tuesday, this Tuesday, it was only like an hour, not even.
Okay.
So, um, so I wanted to talk a little bit about like with everything with like the Jam Pro. Maybe you can give me more insight of how everything works with them as well too.
Okay. Go ahead.
So, so basically, my understanding is I seen a lot of your videos with Zoom people breaking down everything. Um, so with like the royalties and all that and the insurance. Now that I know the royalties come out every month, but with the insurance, can you actually go and get your own insurance or is it with them?
Well, they will tell you you can get your own insurance, but you have to have the same coverage that they
That
have.
they offer?
So it
Like,
has to match theirs, you know, and you're gonna find that it's gonna be very difficult to find what they have as far as coverage.
gotcha.
Um,
And the
and it's
price about in the same price range that they
exactly, exactly. And so it makes it harder for you if you try to do that. And I mean that 1% for insurance or whatever, or 2%, whatever it is now, um, it alleviates the headache of you trying to go and do it and you can't find it because they're gonna always it's gonna always match, but they're gonna always have something that they leave off of that insurance policy that's not gonna match Jam Bros. So
gotcha.
I tried, I looked around, I couldn't find it. A franchisee out of Kansas tried finding one, but he couldn't match his out there as well. So, you know, it's difficult. It's going to be very difficult for you to find a policy that's going to be comparable to theirs.
Gotcha. Now, with that insurance said, now once everything goes and I have it because I signed up for their insurance. Now I have insurance on my own. Now, can I get rid of that because I have insurance with Jam Pro?
Well, here's the catch. So you have a separate cleaning entity, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and that's more of the residential.
Yes. Which I also found out with my franchisee because I asked them in the first meeting, and the lady said that actually I can actually go out and get actual commercial cleanings on my own as well too with my business as well too. Because I thought I watched one of your videos where I think you said like your franchisee does not allow that.
Well, so here's the thing. So if if you're representing, if you're getting commercial cleaning contracts and you're going through JanPro, then they're going to insure you. But if you're doing uh, residential properties and you've gotten your own contracts that's not going up under JanPro, then that insurance doesn't cover you. Your insurance will have to cover you under that.
Okay.
You're not representing JanPro with residential.
Because when I was in the meeting, because I even asked that, well, when I first signed the papers, but I'm not 100% sure. I might have to call the office again to validate. I thought she said that it would cover under my business as well too.
Well, the commercial side, if Jan Pro is going to price it, if they're going to price it and they're going to get royalty fees from it, then yes, it's going to cover their for commercial. But if you've already got existing pre-existing that's outside of Jan Pro that you're operating outside of Jan Pro, their insurance doesn't cover.
Gotcha. All right. So I should just keep my insurance as well too.
If you're planning on operating two different sides of the house. Now you want to be careful with that as well. You don't want to commingle the funds as far as what you're operating under JanPro versus what you're operating under your personal entity, because for auditing purposes, JanPro could come back and audit. Well, I won't say your territory, but in our territory, JanPro has the right to audit your
Yeah,
tax.
ours did too. I've seen that in the meeting. So basically, so when I signed it, I gave them my check and stuff with my actual personal business account.
Okay.
So basically, I should go and open another account just for the solely purpose of JanPro's checks.
Correct, correct. Because you don't want to cross mingle funds. Um,
Okay,
you want your residential to stay residential and your funds from your residential to be in your that account, and then whatever you're earning off of JanPro as far as your commercial cleaning, keep it in a separate account. So you could it just so you can keep your books squared away.
because I mean on my side too, I do resident and commercial.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I wasn't like, because I know watch some of your video. I thought the one video you said you can't actually compete with them.
Yeah, yeah. They have a non-compete clause in there. That's why I was telling you,
Yeah. Well, when I asked them that too, they said that with the new rule or something like that, the one lady said that I can still go out and get commercial cleanings on my side of the business with my
okay,
company. So
okay.
with my company. So that's what I was saying. But I should still, even with the allowing of that, I should still open another account.
Yeah, I would do it just for my books wise. Whatever Jan Pro is bringing me in as far as contracts, I want to keep that separate than what I'm already doing or pre-existing business or the business that I'm. If anything, if none of those contracts are being ran under Jan Pro, you want to separate them
Gotcha.
because
So what? Because I had to give them a voided check and then a regular check. So basically, if I want to do that, I should just call them and tell them basically, hey, to keep it separately, I opened a new account and to redo it over again.
well, I would do that, or I would just seek counsel with them to see what best fits you. But for me, I would keep two separate accounts because if I'm already running a business that is doing residential and some commercial, then I would keep that separate thing from what Jan Pro is providing me,
All right,
just to make everything run smoothly. And
run smooth.
especially it helps your accountant at the end of the year to separate those things.
So yeah, it's because I can't. I have to do two separate filings. I'm guessing, right?
Yeah, you're probably going to because Jan Pro is only going to send you a 1099 based off of what they went out and got you.
All right.
It's
Now
under
with
Jan Pro.
yeah, and a lot more now. With the I don't want to say Powerball, but the heck is that? The multiplier. So
Hmm.
basically, that's working, and I know it's been a while because I actually had to go get surgery at one point. So when I did my meeting, it was back in like I think it was like March or April. So I just signed up now because I was recovering a little bit. So the Powerball works like so if you have a contract as a 500, because ours is a multiplier by five.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
then it just only drops down to four if you make over 20,000 a year. She said. Then it goes
Mhm.
down to four. So it's just basically that's just like if a contract's worth like $500, it'd just be 500 times four. And then once that gets taken off, then that money that you can lease it for 12 months, 24 months. Because I think she said about that, but you want to try not to do all that if you can. So
Well, it just depends on the account. It just depends on the account. So when you're starting out, Jan Pro, I know in our city, Jan Pro normally starts you out with smaller accounts.
okay,
So what I try to teach is when you get those smaller accounts, if you could afford to pay those out in full, then do so, because that's going to help you build your cash flow.
Gotcha. And so
And
then,
it's going to stop you from being in debt with JanPro and having to pay finance fees on top of paying your royalty fees and all the other fees that are coming out. You know, the biggest knock with people that enter into JanPro is they leverage everything. They finance everything. So when you're financing every contract, you're not seeing any money because you're pretty much working
to
to
pay it
pay
off.
those contracts off. So, and it can get discouraging because you're out here manually doing labor and you're not seeing anything from it. And a lot of people end up quitting is because they're not managing their debt load correctly. So what I try to do is I try to, if we have any small contracts that are offered to us, we try to pay them in full. That way, when we go and service those contracts, we're actually making positive cash flow from them. You
Oh,
know, so you don't want, and then as you grow and you get those larger contracts, those are the contracts that you finance because those are the contracts that are going to have more meat on the bones to where you could afford to finance it and still see cash flow off of those. You
so
know,
when you get the big contracts, are you talking about maybe that one that pays you like $1,000 a month, or are you talking about one that pays you like $2,000 a month, or is there like a
yeah, anything that you
threshold
can't,
where you normally do to finance it off?
well, anything that you know that you can't pay in cash, you know, anything that's going to be $3,000, $4,000 that's going to have to come out your pocket to pay it, that contract off in full, you want to finance it. So it could be 1,500, it could be 1,000, but you know, based off of your multiplier of that, because we don't have a multiplier of 5 here. Well, we didn't have it when I started. Let me make that clear because I don't know what multipliers they have now. But I basically most of our multipliers start at 4 and then work their way down to 3.
Okay.
Multipliers of 3. So
Because
we don't.
I brought that up to them. It's like, yeah, it's probably a different market and depends on
Yeah.
the franchise. I was like,
So you're
yeah.
in a bigger market though. We're in a smaller area, you know. So our market is smaller. So, you know, most of our contracts, you know, we get smaller contracts, but their multipliers 4, 3, and then they stop at 3. So, you know, um, but it helps. It helps when you're paying your small ones off in full. That way, those small, tiny $400, $500 a month contracts will eventually start to add up, and you'll start seeing thousands of dollars come in, positive cash flow. So now when you're getting that larger contract, which is 3 grand, 2,000, 1,500, that you're gonna have to finance, it won't hurt as much because you're seeing 2,000 in positive cash flow come in, and now you're able to finance those larger ones and let them pay itself off with sweat equity, you know. So it doesn't seem like a burden, even though you may be seeing 200 or 300 or $400 cash flow off of those larger contracts, depending on the size.
But
It
once you get it paid off, you start seeing
more,
the
even
actual
more,
price for it.
exactly. But you'll actually be seeing positive cash flow off of all the smaller ones that you paid in full.
Gotcha. So yeah, my goal is almost like how you were saying is pay off the smaller contracts. And then when I get into that $1,000, $1,500 mark with the multiplier by 5 or whatever it for the
Exactly.
5, when it's looking around like $6,000, $7,000 for that
Exactly.
contract,
So now I got to
you
finance that.
finance those off. But if a
Exactly.
contract's like $300, $400, and
Exactly.
just to pay that one off right out, because then you're like you said, you're not losing too much money. You're not seeing positive cash flows and stuff like that. I mean, me, I clean almost every day. Like I said, I started my company this year. So
Mm,
I'm new into the contract. I still work another job while I'm still doing this. I still have like 2 other employees on like a part-time kind of a thing
yeah.
and stuff like that. Like I said, I just don't want to work for people anymore. I want to work for myself. be my own boss, I should say,
That's a
because
good mindset to
I'm
have.
still working for somebody else. If even if for it's residential, I'm still working for the customer, but being my own boss, make my own rules, treat my employees a lot better, and because the companies don't do that, all they care about is money. They don't care about employees.
Yeah. And then the time freedom, most of these cleans are after hours. Most of these cleans are a couple of hours a night. It's it could be more lucrative to have the cleaning business where you're working a few, even if you had to work it 5 days a week and you worked it 4 hours a night. Some of those incomes will surpass the income that you would do on a 9 to 5, working eight hours a day, 5 days a week. You see what I'm
Oh,
saying?
yeah,
So, it's just the freedom, it's the time freedom, I don't have anybody standing over my back telling me what I need to do. I just go in and clean a building and get out of there, and that's
yeah.
and that's what you want. You want that freedom to be able to come and go and do your thing and not have to worry about nobody's thing.
And that's what I like. I said I like a lot more because it is usually always after work. Nobody's there. I'm that type of person. I mean, I don't mind it. I still doing my job. What I have to do is cleaning, but I'm like that type of person. I like to be in and out, go in, there's nobody there. Like for I have like three commercials on my own side and I clean them after hours because I negotiated with them that way. It's just because then I'm not in your way, you're not in my way. I can go in there and don't have to worry about nobody's in there and stuff like that. And I can just go in and out and it's just a lot more easier. I do like the whole part of it, like you said, being able to be free yourself up at night, that because it's at night. I mean, I got nephews, younger nephews that play baseball or basketball when each season's over. And I'll be able to go and watch my nephew play in his all-star games. Well, that just wrapped up, but he also has a good regular season baseball and stuff like that, which I can't do because I'm before I started this, like I'm working nighttime because I'm just now starting to be a morning person. Like I'm used to working at night, like a 3 to 11 shift, and waking up like 9, 10 o'clock in the morning or something like that. But now I was like, I want to start my business. Now I have to get into the mindset of working in the morning time and stuff like that. Then I have my evening time sometimes to myself, or even like you said, like some might just be like a once a week, twice a week, and sometimes you can negotiate it on a weekend or another day and stuff like that. So I'll have that freedom. I'll be like, oh, my nephew has a baseball game on a Thursday. Well, I don't have to work on a Thursday. I can go watch his game or something like that and be more time, or go to Hershey Park because I only live 20 minutes away from there. So, but like stuff that I couldn't do now with this, I can actually start doing. And then
Hey,
eventually, like I said, I mean, I can be a little bit more relaxed because I do have two other employees and I'm paying them about the minimum wage here is what 725, 750 or something like that.
okay,
I
okay.
know there was talks about upping it to like $15 an hour, but even with that, like I pay them and hey, they already have other jobs. This is something they want to do on the side to make some extra money. Like I before the meeting today, I actually had a cleaning to clean somebody's house, like because she was a rental person selling the house. We did like last week. She was super impressed with my workers and me that she hired us now for her personal home.
Okay.
So now
Congratulations.
yeah, so now I have her as another client too. So it works perfectly because she wants it done on Thursday. My other worker doesn't work Thursdays, and she's like, "I'll take it."
Yeah, good, good.
So
Keep it
and it's like
growing.
an hour and a half to clean 2 hours for the certain price and stuff like that. Which then I don't have to go and worry about that. I trust her to go and do it.
That's right. Mhm.
So but my other thing is though too when because I have a home based office for mine. I don't need to go out and do all that. But now that because I have that, and not a lot of people that I know you talk to already has a business in the cleaning before they bought a franchise. Now, is it worth going out and getting like an office? Because I know that you eventually did went out and got an office, like a little small office.
Well, it just depends. It just depends. I mean, if you know that you're gonna grow and scale, you know, then yeah, go get an office. But if you know that you're just small, I wouldn't suggest that because that's just an extra bill.
Yeah.
That's just an extra bill. You could operate out of your home. That's fine. 9 times out of 10, you're going to be doing after hour clean. So, you know, it's you don't want to build a business and then try to get in the office right away. You want to get your foundation laid first before you start thinking, let
So
me,
build the business up,
yeah,
wait a little bit. Because my goal is eventually not having my workers come to my personal home to pick up equipment, to clean and stuff like that. Like, because I mean, it's your personal home. You don't want.
yeah,
I know
yeah,
you have employees. You don't want them coming to your house to pick them up. Now, like, but me starting out like I'm really cost averaging. Like, I don't want to spend so much in my first year because I already did by starting up my business, now buying the franchise and all the equipment. When you first do that, you get 50 million calls from people. So for like doing leads and all that, and I kindly tell them no because I don't really want it right now because it costs too much. Then you got marketing ads calling and want you to pay like I think it's like $5,000 I think a month to send out like newsletters or whatever to people, postcards or whatever. I'm like,
no, you
man,
don't
no,
need
that's one
it.
expense I don't want because it's not like I started my business here and I have like 20 or 50 clients. I'm building it up on top of still working a regular job.
That's
'Cause
correct.
my goal is to eventually, when that picks up, and usually, like I said, the first year is always the hardest. You lose more than you make
That's
and stuff
right.
like that, and then eventually you start building up once you get a reputation, and then they know. And word of mouth is always still good nowadays, even with everything being on social media and all that stuff. Word of mouth is always good.
Yes, it is.
So my goal is eventually to get an office.
Okay.
I don't know, like, if every business with Jam Pro allows you to have your chemicals there, or I don't know. It
At
might
the
be different
office.
for different markets though too, and different jobs as well too.
Yeah. So we don't keep any chemicals at our house. Most of our chemicals are on site. So
Alright.
they're all on site. So we don't do that. But I I wouldn't see any thing against that. I mean, as long as you got an SDS book, I don't see you not being able to store chemicals that you go and pick up from Jan Pro at your own property.
Gotcha. So a lot of your like chemicals are at your job sites that you cover, right?
That's correct. That's
And there's
correct.
a lot of I know you're in a different state, so you the business owners over there might be different than the business owners here.
Hmm.
uh, but that's something you can ask them and if they're okay with, and if not,
Well,
basically,
no, well, most of our contracts have a supply closet,
okay.
so that's where we store all of our, equipment, chemicals. We try not to keep anything, we try to store everything on site. So when contractors show up, they can go to work. Um, they know, go in the closet and get everything that they need. Everything is in there. Um, but yeah,
Now,
we don't keep any chemicals
with
there.
your contracts there, do you only have the key and your employees have the key for that? I mean, I know
Um,
the owner might have the key for that closet, but like somebody that just say works there, Sally Joe just works there, that they won't have a key to go in there, or is it kind of like pretty secured for your stuff being there?
yeah, secure. It just depends on the site. Um, a lot of times when you start an account and they have a supply closet, they'll normally give you a key,
Okay.
um, or two sets, and then you just give it to one of your employees to go in and out of the closet. Um, there are some buildings that we have their supply closets are not locked, but it's a secured building, and we don't have to worry about anything because they keep their supplies in there as well. So
Gotcha. Now, have you ever had run into an issue where, say, at that contract that you have, that you found out that somebody that works there used your stuff?
Yeah, I mean, that's just, if they have a spill or something, they're going to come in and get a rag and wipe it up, or, you know, but as far as cleaning supplies, I don't have any problem with them using cleaning supplies because they're hiring us to clean, so they're not going to want to clean anything up.
That is true. I mean, like with my commercial ones, each one that I have my own stuff there.
Yeah,
So, and I know those are pretty secure because I talked to and the bosses there, like, don't you worry that nobody's gonna use your stuff because this is why we wanted to hire somebody because they don't want to clean they don't want to clean that stuff. So you'll be good. And it's been going good for that though too. But I was just asking you if anybody has ever used your stuff or anything like that. I know might some people might get mad for them using this stuff, but then at the end of the day, you leave your stuff there. So you're gonna go into maybe somebody's gonna use it.
yeah, yeah.
So, my other thing is though too now when you like say if I want to go to a route of okay, I want a contract, but it's a big building doing pricing and stuff like that. I can call Jam Pro to do a pricing on it, right? If I wanted to send it to them and
That's right.
have them come out. So now if I say if I wanted to go and clean the Hershey company, just using an example out of a thing, I might not be equipped to be able to give them the right like quotes on for that because it might be a bigger because some of my commercial ones are smaller. And I have one big, not like a big, but it's one of my right now top billables that I do for it, which was easy for me. But if with they have a whole warehouse that you might have to go in there every day, and I don't want to do the quote for that. And I asked Jampo, hey, can you come out and do that? Now they come out and do that. I give back to them. Now, would they give that because I referred them to them to go and do that to give that contract to me then? Or,
Yeah, that contract should be your contract under Jan Pro. It'll be yours because you've given them the referral.
okay.
So they wouldn't give it to another contractor to perform the duties. They would give it to you because you brought them the referral. At least
And then,
that's the ethical thing to do. In our area, if we go and get a contract, it's serviced under the person that goes and get the contract.
and now with the multiplier, would they multiply you on that because you did go out and give it to them? You referred it to them, or how does that work with that?
Um, Now each state differs. Now, when I first got started, when I went out and got a couple of contracts on our own, we didn't have to pay a multiplier.
All right.
Now they've implemented paying a multiplier of one if you bring them
Just so then they can
clients.
make their money and stuff
Yeah.
like that too.
But when we used to go and get contracts, it would be just the royalty fee and the marketing fee, you know.
And you still, even if I like say brought somebody in, I still you said you have to still pay a royalty fee on that.
Uh yeah. Hold 1 second. Let's swan at my door. Hold on.
Oh, you're good.
It's a pack.
Oh,
Okay. um, but yeah, they so you would have to get with your master franchisor or your operations specialist just to see if there is a multiplier attached to you bringing them business or referrals. Um, like I said, when I first started, it was no multiplier attached to any new contracts that we brought in. But now I think things have changed to where you still have to pay a one-time multiplier for any new business that you bring into Jam Pro.
gotcha. I mean, I guess that's not too bad because you're not gonna. It's not like if that's a big contract they got on their own. Say that contract's worth like $3,000 a month, and you have a multiplier of five. So at least if it's multiplied by one, it's only say it'd be only $6,000 to buy.
Yeah.
So
But
now
make sure that your operation specialists can give you better guidance in your area because, like I said, the markets are different. So
uh, so for the package that I got, I did the same one as what you did.
okay,
When I started out, like I didn't want to go out and buy, I think what was it? So I have it all written down here. I was thinking about doing the FP20,
okay,
but I was just like, let me try it out first. Cause I was still debating on if I just wanted to do the FP5 or the FP8. But I was like, I'll do what you did and did the FP8 and stuff like that. So now because I know it has it locked in. I think it's what 8,000 a year that you would.
I did the FP5. I started out with the lowest.
Okay. Oh yeah, that is okay. Yeah, that's the one that's the one I did. I did whatever you did
Okay,
because I whatever you did, that's the one I did. I
okay,
think that's the 950, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay, the FP5.
yeah,
That's the one that I did as well too. So that one was what? Sorry. Yeah. So that's I'm sorry, 5,000. I have
yeah.
it all. I have it on my wall. It's like, but so now that counts out for $5,000 a year though. So
Hmm.
with 400 some dollars a month or whatever.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
like 14 a month.
so when you got yours with that, did one contract cover it, or did they have like multiple that equaled out to whatever that was?
No, when I first started, that first contract was one contract, and it was a total of $685 worth of revenue. So
Okay.
it surpassed the 414 that are required. So we had to pay the difference of that. So we paid that off in full when we started.
And is that so? It would be like what 200 some dollars more they got you?
Yeah, yeah, because it
Did you have
was
to do that $200 times the multiplier
that's
of
correct.
4 or 5?
Four, yeah.
Okay. So if they did find that, that's what it would be for that. Now, how quickly after that? Because I know my first thing was when I first was learning it was, "Wait, is that all I'm going to get for the year? Is it even worth it doing for that?" And stuff like that. Until I saw one of your videos that said, just because you bought in for that package doesn't mean that that's what you're going to get, that they can give you more contracts.
Yeah.
No, after your first contract, how long did it really take to get like another contract rolling in after you did all your meetings, you got your first contract and all that? Did it was it like a week or 2 weeks after until you got your second contract with them,
It
or
was almost
how
two
fast did
weeks.
they move?
Yeah. It was almost 2 weeks when we received another contract.
All
And
right.
that one was I think that one was around $800 a month.
Okay.
And I mean for the first month, man, I think the first 2 months we received about maybe three contracts. So in the first 90 days, we were probably at about billing about $4,000 a month.
Between all those. Now, with yours, do you normally call? I forget what they said. You have like a accountant, not like accountant, but somebody that you could talk to. Like, hey, um, if you have more contracts to send it to my way or something like that, you get like a representative on your side too.
My operations specialist, that's
Yeah,
correct.
operations specialist that goes out and now is like the operations specialist like really good to try to go out and get you more contracts, or do you have like ones that were
I guess
eh,
the
every so often?
well, well, in our area when I first got started, yeah, they were aggressively getting contracts for you because I mean in the beginning, you're trying to grow your business. And so like I tell a lot of my mentees or, my VIPs that, you want to sit down with your operation specialist and give them a 12-month goal where you want to be at, where you see yourself at in 12 months, where you see yourself at in 5 years, where you see yourself at in 2 years. So you want to give them a pathways. You want them to know that you're taking this thing serious and you want to build a business. You want to be a success.
Yeah.
So that gives them the opportunity to go out and try to grab the contracts to build you up. Because, you know, like I said, one thing about Jam Pro is they cannot make money without the franchisee.
Gotcha.
The
So they do it.
franchisee has to make money, you know, in order for them to make money. You
Yeah,
know.
because I know when I was signing my papers, they asked for your 3 areas. I don't know if that was the same way with you.
Well,
When
like I said, our area is so small. So when they first started, they were just doing this. They although they have a wide footprint, they were just doing my area, my city. Um, and they stretch in multiple cities. The master franchisor owns a territory that stretches in multiple cities. So when they first started, they were just building our city out.
yeah, because
And
I think my franchisee has it in. Because let me get my manual book out. It has it in. If I can find it real quick. He's in Washington, D.C., Virginia, Baltimore, and Harrisburg in Pennsylvania.
oh yeah, he has a
So
pretty big territory.
he has multiple, even out of state. But on my papers, we asked like your top three like counties, because I think we have like 40 some to 50 some counties in here in Pennsylvania.
Mm.
Um, it was all the way like some were like almost like an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours away from me and stuff like that. So it lists my top three, and then below it, she was like, "Where do you see yourself at on the first year of what you want to make?" I said, "I want to make $20,000 a year, like on that, but I want to make more." But then by the second year, I was like, I want to make even more than that. I want to be like the guy from you that's like what in 2 years that's billing like almost what like 30 or $40,000 a year, a month or whatever. I said that's my goal to go and do. I let the manager of the building, the manager that does it or whatever she was, let her know it's like I'm ready. I'll get as many contracts as I can and stuff like that from you guys and stuff like that. She's like, there's some people that just get contracts and small contracts, financing them and getting a lot of those because they can get a lot more money that way. So is that like a good plan to do as well, or is that something that you wouldn't do? Like buy up all the like the small or medium, but still financing that.
Like I said, I can only do what I, you know, teach.
Because I don't want to be in too much debt.
I can only do what I teach, and I teach to pay all my small contracts in full. That's what I preach on. I preach that because the more that you pay in full, the better your cash flow is going to look, and the less debt you're going to carry. You know, it's like anything. You don't want to carry a whole lot of debt. You don't want to drown in debt because you'll be in quicksand. You know,
Yeah,
a lot of franchisees, like I said, the people that talk bad about Jam Pro is because they carried a lot of debt. You know, they got contracts that didn't make any sense.
and
You
they
know,
would just financing them all, probably not want to pay
finance.
all of it at
Exactly.
once and stuff like that. I mean, but I get it. Like if you start and you don't have that cash flow to buy them all the way up, like starting out, like when I started out, like I mean, I had a certain amount but that's in my investment. That's something for when I want to retire for. Because I told her I was like, I can buy, I can literally buy like the whole package. But I'm like, that's with my financial advisor, and she wouldn't be happy about that. Like that's for my retirement. I was from when a family member died and the will came in. I put that into the stock market,
Yeah.
401k and my own stocks that I have with them. I was like, I can literally buy that whole thing, but I'm not doing that because if that doesn't work out,
Right.
now I'm down all that money and I have nothing in my 401k. And my advisor, she's pretty smart. I wanted, what was it? I was trying to help a buddy out because something was his electric bill was going to go off, and she was fighting me over $500 of taking out, and I had the cash liquidity to do it, but she was fighting me not take it out because I told her from day one, I want you to make sure I don't take anything out from there. But I was like, it's for a buddy. He's going through hard times, and I wanted to help him out because, like I said, I was taught to always try to care, and so I was helping him out, and then she finally gave in and said, "Yes, I'll send it to you."
Yeah.
but but yeah, for something like that, like I get if they don't have that cash flow to go and buy them all out, maybe financing them is all good. And when they see more contracts coming, is like, oh man, I want to take that because once it gets paid off, I'll make good money on that.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's our motto. That's our brand. Our brand is to just pay the small ones, finance the larger ones, and then just not carry a lot of debt load. You know, don't carry a lot of debt load with JanPro. And once you start doing that, you know, you'll start the business will start working for you versus you working, sweating and working for the business. So
Got
that's basically our motto. So and that's what we believe in. That's our belief system.
Yeah, and my goal is kind of on your line though too, is that's what I kind of want to do as well too. I also want to, because I already, like I said, I already have two employees as well. So um is it good for me when I first start out to just have them work it, or should I just work it? Because it's two different entities, my business and their bit, well, my franchise business with them.
It just depends on how you're planning on doing it. That's something I can't answer for you. You know,
Gotcha.
that's just depending on the size of the contract. All that stuff plays a part in it.
So
So
basically, if it's a small contract and it's not a lot of bad, like once a week, to save some money from that to go and do it myself.
yeah, it makes sense.
I was planning on doing that too. So I recently hired two other people for like part-time work. So that's one of the questions I wanted to ask you of what would you done in that situation. But if it's a
If
small
it's
contract,
just one day, if it's one day a week and it's a couple of hours a night, I mean, it makes sense for you to clean it.
yeah, because
You
my
know,
goal is for the first like 6 or 7 months of with this getting billables in from them, getting paid from them, having it all sit as one and not touching it at all. That's why I think unless like if I get in one of those 7 months, I get a big contract that wants like 2 or 3 times, then I would bring in my employee to pay for that,
hmm,
pay for them to go and clean. But my goal is not to touch any of the money that JanPro pays me at the end of the month.
good goal.
So then I can build it up. So if I get one that's like $5,000 a month, at least I have some equity there that I've saved up, or even if it's 2 or 3,000 with the multiplier of the five until I reach 20,000 a year, is to then I can outright buy it then and not touch it and just go off of what I have. 'Cause,
Yeah, that's
uh,
good.
so in your department with that in your franchisor, or is it franchisor or
Yeah, franchising.
yeah. So now, do you guys do like anything like with all the people in his like in his group? You know what I mean? With all the franchises he oversees, do you guys go to like like meetings so often? Because I seen that they said I think every so often you have to go to a meeting or anything, or do you get to meet your other franchisees that are under him or
Yeah,
her, whoever
yeah,
owns it and stuff like that?
yeah. They have banquets and they have classes and things of that nature. So yeah, you're gonna meet your other franchisers. You're gonna meet your other franchisees. So you don't have to worry about that because they're gonna have functions that you guys are gonna have to come to and just mingle. You know.
Now, with that being said, so is it like because I understand like you might have some that's in your areas that are part of the Jam Pro too. It's not really like competition with them, or
Uh,
or
I
how does
mean, no, it's not competition because you guys have your own contract that you have to service and they have theirs.
like
So you're not competing for the
all
same contract. Yeah.
so y'all working together? So like say if you get sick when you first started out, because I know they were talking about getting to know other franchisees because like say you go on vacation or you go on or you're sick or something like that, that you could reach out to maybe, hey, can you service one of mine, and you can do like billables. Is your franchisor like okay with that, doing that too? Because it might,
Yeah.
I don't know everything aligns. It might what the franchisor might have different rules than a different franchisor and stuff like that. So
Yeah,
I
they
know
were doing that.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, they were doing that here when I first started. They were encouraging you to, you know, meet other franchisees. That way, if you were to be ill or something like that, or had to go out on an emergency, that someone could fill in. So yeah, it's encouraged.
Now, have you ever had to deal with that at all, or help another franchisee out?
No, I haven't. I personally haven't, but I've had um some franchisees that went out terminally ill and other franchisees had to cover down for them. So yes, it does happen. It does occur.
Now, for that cleaning, does your franchisor at the end of the month take that payment that they clean and put it onto their books, or is that something that franchisee has to pay the other franchisee for that cleaning?
I I would have I couldn't tell you, but I would assume that when you submit your invoice in, that you would put that one building and that clean that you performed at that building on there.
Gotcha.
So Karen Pro will pay you directly. I assume that. I couldn't tell you for sure, but that will be the most effective way to do it is service that building as once you turn in your invoice, you're going to turn it in as a special clean because you cleaned it for another franchisee. And you would just add that clean onto that invoice and submit it into JanPro.
Gotcha. Yes, and I also one of my things when I was reading over because I like to read over thoroughly, like even like twice or three times. I seen all these different fines: $50 here, $50 there, $50 here, $50 there, $50 here. I was like, holy heck!
Mhm. Yeah.
Like
Make
so,
sure you turn your invoices in on time. Your activity reports. Make
and
sure you turn those activity reports in on time.
yeah, some of that wasn't even just for the invoice. Some of it was for something else and this. And then I know that they said about, I don't know if yours is the same way with like a 1 hour, like if something happens and they call, you have like 1 hour to respond to them before. And if you don't, and they have to go out and clean, you pay like a $50 plus whatever time and labor or something like that. I was like,
Yeah, that's
that's
that's that's standard.
yeah, I didn't know if that was for every market or if it was just for this franchisee because all I seen like almost every other page, $50 for this, $50 for that, $50 for this. So so now with your franchisee, my one question that I was reading, and I was trying to get a hold of them about asking. Now, did you have to leave business cards at each of your like contracts that you were at buildings?
That's correct. Yeah.
No,
I mean,
now
you definitely want to because if something happens, you want them to be able to get in contact with you.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
you want to
my my thing with that was I didn't know because I tried, but she's on vacation, so nobody calls me back or tries to answer all that. Um,
do
now
you
is that
guys have a log book that you keep at the accounts?
yeah, that's one of the things that I in the meeting she said that there's like a log book there, and that's where the business cards was, and I was like, I tried to ask her, but we kind of ran out of time, and everybody was edgy after like the 3.5 hours, 3 to 3.5 hours, and just wanted to go and stuff like that. So I didn't get to ask her that question because I'm the one that I like to listen first, and then at the end answer questions. But everybody wanted to go, so because it was a long night. So now, is that my own personal business cards, or would it be a Jam Pro business card?
It's gonna be well in our area. They produce JanPro business cards for you with your name and your contact information on it.
Okay,
So it'll be that inside the JanPro log book. So
gotcha. So
so
okay.
you submit that into your office manager and say, hey, if you ever need me, here's my business card. It's inside the log book. Just give me a call.
All right. So now, say if you got more than a certain amount of business cards, I don't know how many they give you. Like, is there like a certain amount that you got when you first started that they gave you,
Normally,
or is it
normally,
something like
normally they print out about 25 to 50 cards for you. And then you just, if you run out of those, you just go back to the office and they'll print you some more out.
okay, and you don't have to pay for that either?
It depends now. In my city, we didn't have to pay for it, but I can't speak for every master franchiser.
Gotcha. Um, Now with the cleaning supplies, like I have my own personal cleaning supplies that I use and stuff like that. So now I can't use mine. I have to use all strictly theirs stuff too, right?
Yeah, you want to use the Jam Pro approved products in the commercial. Because if you're doing residential and you're cleaning with residential chemicals, it's not going to work for Jam Pro in a commercial setting. So
Gotcha.
you want to use their approved products in their buildings.
And now with that being said, can I get somewhere similar? Because when I was being that they allow that I can get on my own without paying for them, or is it cheaper to go and get the products through them instead of a different supplier that they might approve of? Because
Uh,
I know when I did my first ever meeting, like before I even signed the papers, and I was just getting like questions done, and we had me and that one person had like a Zoom meeting. We were just going over all the plans and everything like that. She says something about that. I mean, you can as long as it's approved by Jam Pro
it'll definitely
that
have to
you
be
can
approved.
use. So, but let's just say they approve this one company because they have the products almost exactly what Jampro might get from a different provider. Now, is it smart? I don't know how you did it. Did you normally just go through Jampro because it might be cheaper than going to a different supplier that they might approve still though too?
No, I just use Jam Pro product only.
Oh,
'Cause I mean, they have it there at the office, so I'm not going to go outside of that to go hunt down specific product. And
right.
I'm not worried about whether it's cheaper or not. I'm just worried about the cleanliness of it.
But
So
I mean, I am too. But I mean, I know you might have this, but you can get almost the same one that works better too, but it could be cheaper that way. I was just curiosity of that. Now, how does that work when you go? Do you just call them and tell them, "Hey, this is all I need," and then they'll get it, and then they'll call you back to when your products are there, or
normally we go down to the office and pick our products up.
okay, but when you call to make an order, you just call them, right? Oh,
No,
they have all that there already. That's pretty actually pretty quick. So you don't have to wait and stuff like that. And you can purchase as much as you want there though too. So if you want to buy 3 vacuums, you can get 3 vacuums that day too, right?
well, now the equipment like that, they'll probably have to order it.
Okay.
I don't think that they have an overflow of vacuum cleaners down there, so they order them, based off of who needs them. So that kind of stuff. But chemical wise, our facility is normally stocked.
On that. Now, with that being said, when you pay them, do you have to take a check there and pay them, or is that something they just bill off of you of that
Yeah,
monthly?
yeah, it's just coming out of our building.
Gotcha. And now I know some people they said you can finance it when you first get your starter kit. I'm gonna I can I can just pay it off, right?
Finance what?
I guess your equipment, like your starter kit when you first join up too,
Oh, okay. Yeah, you can finance your starter kit. But
it's not really worth it.
I paid my first contract in full. My starter kit was included in that first contract, so I couldn't tell you. I can tell you about financing starter kit because I paid it in full.
I think ours is even if you paid it in full,
But I
you still
started in 2016, so it was different then.
that's probably a lot different than what it is now. Because now you still have to pay. I think it's like even if you paid the whole that package off until you reach a certain one, she said, then you get a discount on the actual starter kit. But the starter kit is like $1,200.
Oh yeah, see, it
I
was
was
totally different.
I
Totally.
was like, dang, that just for a starter kit? I mean, that's that's pretty rough, but
Yeah.
I mean, I'll just pay it off. So I paid that. I'm gonna pay that off though too, because I was like, I don't want that little $1,200 being being on my thing where I'm not getting cash flow for that thing coming up too. I was still surprised at the amount of the stuff that costs $1,200 for bottles, sprays, floor, mop, sweep. I guess you have to pay for, I guess like a flash drive too. Now with that flash drive, what does that all
I
entail?
we don't have well, I didn't get a flash drive, so I couldn't tell you.
So how do you do your billables then at the end of the month that you have to send off to them through email?
Yeah, through email.
And okay, because yeah, apparently we get a flash card now, and it has all everything they said in the one meeting. It has everything. It has like your job forms where you can print off, or it also has like, so say you have three contracts at the one where you send it, you can just copy and paste it from there too, which
Yeah,
is a lot more easier. Of how many hours, how many days a week did you go, how many a month or whatever. I have to go back and reread what I wrote down for that on that page, but yeah, that was included as well too. I was like, still all that for $1,200.
yeah.
But
But hey, Dave, I'm gonna have to cut this meeting short. I'm pressed for time right now.
oh,
Um,
you're good.
yeah, but hey, it's been great speaking with you. I wish you the best, success, and like I said, if you need me, I'm an email away. Um, but I think you've gotten the meat and potatoes of it, and it helps that you're already in cleaning. So
Yeah.
uh,
And
yeah,
I seen real quick before you have to go on your YouTube, and I seen on the videos where you pay monthly. What does that all entail? Like just like a one-on-one call if you just need like any help, or how does that
yeah,
all work?
it's just a one-on-one call. I mean, for anything that you need, going over contracts, looking at contracts, anything like that, putting numbers together, making sure everything looks good on paper. So you'll have access to me, you know. So that's all that is for the VIP. It's pretty much just mentoring you throughout your business.
Gotcha. I think once I'm done with my training, I'm gonna definitely sign up for that, so then I can have you go over it with me to see if it's a good contract or not, and go over all the prices though too.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. And you have my link. It's in I think all of my videos. So just
Gotcha.
click on it, and when you're ready, once you sign up, I'll get a notification, and then we'll reach out and jump on Zoom and do some one-on-one mentoring.
All right. Thank you so much, and I appreciate all the time that you did today with me and going over and just talking about with the Jam Pro stuff.
Oh, no problem. I'm glad that you are able to get into the system and start your training classes, and hopefully you'll build a successful business up there and don't look back.
Or I won't.
All right. Well, you take care, David. You be safe up there, okay?
You too. You have a good night now.
You too.
Bye.